Primetime News. My name is Iribami Salako. We begin with headlines. Senate declares support for judgment of the Supreme Court which granted total autonomy to local government councils in Nigeria. Plus, on the news stations of NNPCL raised retail price by 15%, going from 1,030 naira for 895 naira per litre. This was observed across multiple NNPCL stations in FCT. From the international scene, Israel offensive in northern Gaza killed several dozen people, while ongoing attacks on Lebanon have sent more people fleeing from the south. Details of these and more coming your way soon. Stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now details of the news. The Nigerian government will continue to strengthen its ties with Japan as part of measures to deepen trade and exploit more opportunities in the area of infrastructural development, food security and health, among others. This Vice President Kashim Shettima stated while assuring the Japanese government of enhanced cooperation with the federal government of Nigeria, as well as resolving all the grey areas involving bilateral relations between the two nations. Shettima gave the assurance when a delegation of the Japanese government, led by the outgoing ambassador of Japan to Nigeria, Matsunaga Kazuyoshi, and President of Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, Tanaka Akiko, paid him a visit at the presidential villa Abuja. Shettima expressed gratitude to JICA for its commitment towards strengthening the ties between Nigeria and Japan through its contributions to development across critical sectors of the economy. Earlier in his remarks, the president of JICA, Akiko, sympathized with Nigeria over the flood that recently caused damage to many communities and death, especially in Maiduguri, Borno State, saying the sympathy is special because Japan has been a victim of natural disasters. Also speaking, Ambassador Kazuyoshi disclosed that the Japanese government will hold an international conference on African development in Tokyo next year.
And the private sector leader too, in order to strengthen our relationship between Japan and Africa. So today is a very good timing to have the president of JICA and also to discuss variety of the project and how we can expand our cooperation in the future.
Well, I had the privilege of meeting with Mr. Vice President just now, and we had a very, very productive discussion on the direction of future collaboration between Nigeria and Japan.
The Nigerian Senate on Wednesday called on all the chairs of government to comply with judgment of the Supreme Court in local government autonomy. Also, the lawmakers also declared their readiness to tinker with the necessary sections of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to boost the autonomy of local councils in the country. Correspondent Koleojo completes the story.
The decision of the Red Chamber was sequel to a motion by Senator Tony Nwoye on the floor of the Senate. Senator Nwoye threw orders 41 and 51 of the Senate rules while presenting a motion alleged plans by some state governments to avoid execution of the judgment of the Supreme Court on autonomy of local government financing. According to Senator Nwoye, the state houses of assembly were attempting to enact alternative laws for their respective states. Other senators who spoke in support of the motion said it was timely as Nigerians are yearning for a change in local government administration in the country.
To prevent and stop imposition of action of state governments using their state house of assemblies to enact laws that breach constitutional provisions as well as Speaker judgment of 11th of July 2024 that granted financial autonomy to our local governments in line with the provisions of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So I want to support this motion by urging the Senate that if there is nothing this 10th Senate will achieve, it is this local government autonomy. I recalled in Kano 2 weeks ago when we had the retreat on constitutional review led by the Deputy Senate President. This issue of local government autonomy was one of the major issues that we discussed.
I raised the point of order simply because the Supreme Court judgment, which distinguished Senator Tony Owoye referred to, is a Supreme Court pronouncement. It's a decision of the court, and it must be enforced by all persons and authorities in Nigeria.
The point of order raised by Senator Adamu Ailero on the motion forced the Senate into an executive session. Speaking after the executive session, the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, said the Senate is fully in support of the Supreme Court judgment on granting financial autonomy to the 774 local governments in Nigeria.
And so we have deliberated on it. We have come to the reasonable position that the Supreme Court of Nigeria is the final court of the land, and that they cannot make a pronouncement that would not be enforced. So in other words, the Nigerian Senate stands solidly behind the Supreme Court decision.
The Senate thereafter approved 2 prayers out of the 6 prayers advanced by Senator Nwoye in his motion. It consequently urged all state and local governments to fully comply to the recent Supreme Court judgment on the disbursement and utilization of funds accrued to all local governments in Nigeria. The Senate also pledged to ensure alteration to relevant provision of the Constitution to provide full autonomy to local governments in Nigeria.
We believe strongly that if there is any legacy that this administration will leave behind, including the 10th Senate, it is a legacy of sanitizing the local governments, ensuring that local government funds are well utilized for the benefit of the rural people, and at the same time, local governments are allowed to function and function well. That will also, in due course, include their elections.
It will be recalled that early August 2024, the Supreme Court barred all 36 governors from retaining or utilizing funds allocated for the 774 local government areas across the country. The court ruled that it was illegal and unconstitutional for governors to continue to receive and seize funds meant for local government in their states. From the upper chamber of the National Assembly, Kunle Ojo, Galaxy TV.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives have called for a review of Nigeria's justice and judicial system in order to restore public trust in the judiciary and address the delay in providing justice. The lower chamber also mandated this committee on constitutional review to organize public hearings aimed at addressing delay in justice delivery. Honorable Ganiwa Yuba, who raised the motion, expressed concern over the lengthy court cases that often take years to resolve, undermining public trust in the judiciary and slowing down democratic and economic progress. The Committee on Constitutional Review was instructed to report back within 4 weeks.
In some states of the Federation, cases at the High Court, which by their nature ought to be dispensed within months, last between 4 to 5 years before judgment is delivered. The House further worried that situations where suspects languish in detention for years awaiting trial, where chieftaincy cases lasted for years in court, leaving communities without head, and where commercial litigation span years in court unresolved, they are bane to our democratic and economic growth.
The problems we have with our justice delivery system, for example, today, can be seen in the cases in our various correctional centers. Prisons that were built or correctional facilities that were built to take, for example, 100 persons in the 70s, where facilities have not been expanded till today, have thousands of people languishing in them. And Mr. Speaker, of the number of persons in our correctional facilities, I can say without any form of doubt that over 60 to 70% are people who are awaiting trial.
I am here today because the electoral law made it possible that after the election,
all the cases must be dispensed within 7 months. Previously, you have cases, electoral cases, lingering up to 3 years. So there is no time better than now for this motion to be given accelerated hearing.
And still with the Green Chambers, the House of Representatives have urged the federal government to enforce the Export Prohibition Act 2004 to tackle food smuggling and improve food security. Honorable Mukhtar Shagaya, who raised the motion, highlighted the nation's high food insecurity, inflation and shortages. He noted that food smuggling exacerbates the problem by undermining local agriculture and threatening farmers' livelihoods. The House also called on the Ministry of Agriculture to provide more incentive to boost agricultural production.
The House is also concerned that the food smuggling and exportation is a major driver of the current food insecurity, with large quantities of food products smuggled out of the country, consequently undermining agricultural output and threatening the livelihood of farmers. The House is also aware that the Export Prohibition Act 2004 was passed at a period when the majority of Nigerians were unable to acquire basic necessities like rice, corn, yam, gari, cassava, and beans.
The lower chamber also tasked its Committee on Works, Housing, Safety Standards and Environment to investigate the causes of frequent building collapses in Nigeria and propose lasting solutions, with the report due in 4 weeks. This followed the motion by Honorable Adere Mushini, who raised concerns over the 135 building collapse incident reported between 2022 and July 2024. A one that without urgent intervention, more lives and properties will be lost, causing further harm to communities and the economy. The lawmaker emphasized the need for regulatory bodies such as COREN to enforce best practices in the construction industry.
2021, 52 people equally died as a result of building collapse in Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, just for few references, in 2014 September 12 specifically, at Synagogues Church of All Nations, there was another major incident where 115 people died on account of building collapse.
Meanwhile, the Speaker of House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, has warned that the House will no longer tolerate oil companies that refuse to appear before its committees. This warning came during the opening of the Joint House Committee on Environment and Petroleum Resources Upstream Petroleum Downstream investigative hearing in Abuja, which focused on the environmental impact of transporting crude oil and oil spillages in the Niger Delta, involving AITEO, ENP, and Ondo Oil Limited, formerly Nigerian Egypt Oil Company. Honorable Abbas, represented by Chief Whip of the House, Honorable Bello Kumo, directed the committee to use all legislative powers to ensure compliance from those summoned and urged them to thoroughly investigate oil spill incidents in Nigeria. Honorable Ponding Badbabo, chairman of the House Committee on Environment, emphasized that the hearing aimed to address serious environmental concerns affecting both the affected communities and the nation. Despite multiple invitations, the CEOs of AITEO and O&O failed to attend the hearing, prompting the House to issue a 7-day ultimatum to Wale Tinubu, CEO of O&O PLC, and the management team of AITEO, led by Victor Okoronko, to appear before the committee and address concerns about oil spillages. During the session, representatives from the Ministry of Environment and the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Commission highlighted the need for better coordination, technological upgrades, and regular monitoring of oil operations to prevent spillages. The absence of top executive from the oil companies was criticized, underscoring the seriousness of the environmental issues at hand.
Our parliamentary powers to summon these oil companies to appear before us, and if we need to issue an arrest warrant, if the need arises, that these oil companies be made to appear before us unfailingly. I so move, Mr. Chair.
It is important that we make this call, because if we don't, it will get to a time when we will call for stakeholders to appear, and we will get similar and funny attitude like this. This is our environment, for crying out loud. People are deliberately, we are asking, come and explain. We have a petition, we have a motion, come and explain your own side of the story so that Nigerians can hear you.
Economic impasse inflicted on these, our host communities. These host communities are agrarian communities. They are known for farming, they are known for fishing. And the activities of this oil split impacted on them in relation to the water they take, in relation to their fishery, in relation to their farming, pollution, and other issues that need to be addressed as a parliament.
Moving on to other stories. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has raised its pump price of petrol in Abuja by 14.8% to 1,030 naira per litre from 897 naira it originally sold the product. The latest price increase makes it the second time petrol price has been hiked in the past 1 month. The company had in September increased pump price from 650 naira per litre to 897 naira. Correspondent in Abuja, Ken Abuja, who visited one of NNPC's retail mega stations in Abuja, where the price increase has been effected, reports that the new pump price shocked motorists, who lamented the continuing hardship the hike in petrol price has cost the country. And Abuja reports that some of the residents who had been in queue for almost several hours said they didn't know that they have increased the price. They said the Tinubu-led administration seems not to be concerned about the hardship and sufferings the citizens are going through. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Coming up next. Federal government taxes Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology (NITT) with advancing research in electric cars. Details of these and more coming after the break. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. Now to the story teased earlier. The federal government has tasked the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology (NITT) with advancing research in electric vehicles, aiming to provide sustainable and green transport solution tailored to Nigerians' needs. The Minister of Transportation, Saidu Al-Khali, issued this directive during the 2024 NITT Management Retreat and the unveiling of the Institute Compressed Natural Gas Conversion and Training e-booking system held in Kaduna, with the theme realigning NITT's vision with performance management system and the dynamics of transport industry. The retreat aims to chart a new course for sustainable development and growth in Nigeria's transport sector. Speaking at the event, Minister of Transportation Saidu Al-Kali described the transport sector as a critical enabler of economic growth, emphasizing that NITT must take the lead in transport training, research and innovation, positioning itself as a leader across Africa.
Dynamics of the transport industry demand nothing less than our full commitment to excellence. We are witnessing the rise of electric vehicles, the potentials of autonomous transportation, and the increasing performance of sustainable and green transport solutions.
The reason why we are here is to be able to give Nigerians a better way of living.
The school deems it necessary to organize this management retreat to reflect on the achievements so far by the Institute and forge another perspective for sustainable development and growth to align the Institute vision with performance management systems and the dynamics of the transport industry.
Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has inaugurated the 7-man panel Judicial Commission of Inquiry to investigate the arson, killing and destruction of government properties in the state. Governor Fubara inaugurated the commission at the Executive Chambers of Government House in Port Harcourt, the state capital, with a mandate of 1 month. Addressing the chairman and members of the commission, the Rivers State Governor said the commission is long overdue, taking into consideration frequent happenings in the state.
This commission that we're inaugurating today, I think, has been overdue, because some time ago, about this time last year, a similar thing happened. And because we believed that we are one family, that whatever differences we have definitely will be resolved internally.
Speaking on the motive behind setting up the commission, the governor stressed on the need to find out the remote cause of the incident. On her part, the chairman of the commission, Justice Ibinwengi Minakari, lament the present state of Rivers State Capital.
Decided to take this action to find out the immediate and remote causes of this, and most importantly, no matter the personality involved, we must bring them to book. So this assignment is a very, very important assignment. It's an assignment that, if it is not done rightly, will give this enemy of the state opportunity to continue. And if we get it right, it's going to be the end of further destruction of public property in the state.
We had a time that children living in the heart of Port Harcourt, a place like Bonny Street, where I grew up, could go to schools without your parents being over anxious about your safety. You could walk from Bonny Street to St. Cyprian's Township School and then go back home. Today, things have changed a great deal, and to be very honest, it breaks my heart.
As the deadline approaches for 774 local government areas of Nigeria to either have substantive elected executive or bar from receiving allocation from the federal government due to full autonomy, several states, including the Anambra State, that have not conducted such election in the last 16 years, are equally part of the rush for local government election. Galaxy News correspondent Lepi Joseph has more in this report.
In 1996, we have a local government that was functional, that was people-driven and people-centered. That was a center of development. And local government was systematically raped and crippled over time by state political activists and actors because of the fund available to local government which they are easily attracted to, leading to pilfering and outright stealing of local government funds. Local government autonomy is going to be of great benefit to the rural populace. Now the executive chairmen are going to have more money to carry out projects, because what has been happening before is cornering of funds that are meant for the people, for the rural dwellers. But now the funds are coming directly to their pockets, it's coming directly to the accounts of the local government, and we are very, very sure that they are going to make judicious use of it. It's a welcome development. And again, you and I can go to a rural area without going to the mountain to pray, and you'll be relieved. Poverty will be addressed because we have a vocational skill action department in local government that has the capacity, is well equipped to carry out vocational skill training and acquisition and empowerment of women and youths at the rural area. So this will grow the community GDP, which will cumulatively impact positively on national GDP. So the advantages are so numerous. Nigerians should expect drastic changes, and Nigerians are also gradually seeing the enemies of democracy. We now know those who really want democracy as it's supposed to be. I wonder why, if all the governors are enjoying their autonomy at the state level, and they are not ready to let go of the local government executive chairman.
Moving on to other stories, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, has approved the immediate disbursement of relief funds to the families of officers involved in a fatal motor accident on September 24, 2024. The officers were returning from Edo Elections Special Duty to Kano State Command when the accident occurred along the Zaria-Kano Expressway, Karifikura. The tragic incident claimed the lives of 5 officers, while 11 others were hospitalized. 8 of the injured have since been discharged after receiving medical care, while 3 remain under treatment. According to a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, ACP Olumiyiwa Adejobi, the IGP has approved a compensatory payment of 10 million naira to the families of the deceased officers, recognizing their profound loss and providing support during this difficult time. Additionally, the IGP approved the sum of 2 million naira for those still receiving medical treatment, ensuring their continued care, and 500,000 naira for those who have been discharged. The IGP reaffirmed the Nigerian Police Force's commitment to supporting its officers and their families in times of need. He expressed his deepest condolences to the families of the deceased and wished for swift recovery of those still undergoing treatment. 3 corpses have been recovered on Wednesday from the scene of the boat accident that happened 2 days ago in the middle of the lagoon at Imori town. Through the search and rescue operation activated by responders agencies, over 48 hours later, 3 lifeless bodies among the passengers that capsized with 2 boats were recovered. Through the timely intervention of police, divers and emergency responders, 11 of the 16 passengers were rescued with injuries and were rushed to Naval Hospital, Navy Town, Alakija for medical attention. The search and rescue continues to recover the remaining 3 persons that are trapped deep in the lagoon. Protesting women and supporters of the People's Democratic Party in Edo State have protested to the headquarters of the Nigerian Union of Journalists in Benin City over what they described as their stolen mandate. The women, who were dressed in black, displayed placards with different inscriptions, blaming the electoral umpire for the failure of their party in the September 21st governorship election in Edo State. Expressing their displeasure in separate interviews, the former chairman, Eastern West Local Government, Honorable Stella Okoro, as well as some women leaders, said their mandate was stolen from them.
We voted PDP. We mothers are crying. We are all crying, we are in tears, we are in pains. that they should give us back our stolen mandate. Because that day they all voted PDP. Everybody voted, that's when you go down low. All over the places. Because the people rejected the tigers and the lions, that they are tired of them. That was why you can see Edo State that day, everybody was voting PDP. But to our greatest surprise, they stole our mandates. So that's why we are crying.
We mothers are out today to come and cry in the city of Edo State to tell them we are ready. We want our mandates. They should give us our mandate. When we were voting, when we were campaigning, they were busy sleeping. They were not as active as the PDP. The PDP did everything that is needful that we need to do. Every look and cranny in this city, we went through it. Mosquito campaign, we did. Everybody saw us. That is why people voted us.
We worked tirelessly for these mandates. We campaigned to the nooks and crannies of Edo State. We campaigned to the 192 wards we have in this state. Edo people came out en masse to vote for us. We are begging those that are concerned to please give us our mandate. We women, we are crying. Edo women, we are mourning. We are in tears. Please give us our mandate. INEC, we need our mandate.
Not to southwestern Nigeria, the Oyo State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Oluwaseun Ajetomobi, has said that the total number of 245 suspected cases of dreaded cholera disease was reported January 1st to October 7, 2024, with 23 cases confirmed, while only one death was recorded during the period. Dr. Ajetomobi disclosed this while briefing newsmen at Governor's Office Press Conference Room at the end of the weekly Executive Council meeting. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Oluwaseun Ajetomobi, said the request for approval of a sum of 210 million state counterpart fund for the support of the NET campaign coming up in May 2025 was also looked into at the meeting. According to her, the counterpart fund is to cater for the micro-planning, which includes logistics, flag off, night campaign, storage and distribution across 33 local government areas of the state. She stated that the procurement of the net cost the USAID the sum of 1,726,214,195 naira.
Total of 245 suspected cases of cholera in the state. And when you say suspected, that does not mean that they have cholera, but they have the symptoms of cholera: vomiting, diarrhea, weakness. But for confirmed cases, 23 confirmed cases. As at yesterday evening, a total of 9 victims or patients are still on admission at our infectious disease center.
Also briefing newsmen, the State Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Dr. Wasiu Olatunbosun, gave highlight of activities slated for the rest of the year, approved by the Executive Council as regards culture and tourism, to include the World Twin Festival. He stated that the ministry is already having effect on the revenue drive of the state with its various programs in culture and tourism.
Ministry has started generating a lot of revenue for the state. For instance, we have introduced that any organizations or group, any organization or group that wants the state to partner with, the state, will first of all, before we give out endorsement letter, you first of all have to pay into the state purse.
As part of efforts aimed at raising model citizens in Nigeria, the National Orientation Agency has reviewed plans for the establishment of 37,000 citizen brigades nationwide. Ogun State Director, National Orientation Agency, Funke Salako, made this known at the flag-off ceremony of the National Identity Project in Ogun State, with the focus on the national anthem and the National Value Charter. She said the creation of the new institutions will be tailored to have young adults learn on leadership and capacity development. She noted that the National Value Charter empowers citizens to actively participate in nation building, fostering a sense of ownership and responsibility towards the nation's collective future.
The agency will establish citizen brigades in primary and secondary schools this year, starting with 37,000 members. There will be 1,000 per state and 1,000 from the Federal Capital Territory. The brigade will be fashioned after the Boy Scout and the Girls Brigades, where members learn leadership and moral values. They will be raised as model citizens who will embody the national identity. Millions of Nigerian children, as the brigade grows, millions of Nigerian children will join the brigade in a few years.
Speaking further, the NOA director said the Nigerian Identity Project (NIP) is intended to bring the nation together irrespective of tribe, religion or ethnicity. He said the project is designed to make Nigerians understand what it is to be a Nigerian, realize the reason they should be proud to be Nigerians.
The National Value Charter is in two parts. Some people call it 7 for 7. 7 promises of government for 7 responsibilities that the citizen is expected to give to the country. Now, one of the main things that is different about this charter, compared to all the other things that we've been doing, change begins with me, this one and that one, transformation agenda and all of that. One of the main things is that all those other ones have always been focused on the citizen.
Internally displaced persons in 2 separate camps in Jabimba and Dadu, both in Guma local government area of Benue State, have been relieved of the challenges of water scarcity, open defecation and sexual harassment, particularly among women and young girls at the camp, following provision of a new solar-powered motorized water bowl, solar street lights and toilets. The Catholic Relief Service (CRS), in collaboration with Foundation for Justice, Development and Peace (FJDP), a faith-based organization, executed the project as it also empowered 200 IDPs financially across persons with special need, widows and female family head, pregnant and lactating mothers, and chronically ill persons. Commissioning the project, the Archbishop of Makurdi Diocese, who was represented by Reverend Father Moses Yoapo, the Director of Communication, alongside country representative of Catholic Relief Service (CRS) Nigeria, Akim Kikonda, and the coordinator of Foundation for Justice, Development and Peace under the Makurdi Catholic Diocese, Reverend Father Reginus Iyula, who lauded the project, saying the project, which was executed within 6 weeks, will also benefit host communities, as this is one way the Catholic impact and support lives.
We are coming here to do this, not that we are very proud that we are giving this kind of facility, providing this facility for the internally displaced persons. We are able to do what we can do to give them a reason to live and to protect their dignity as human beings. And we hope that the government will become deeply involved as well, so that these people will be able to return to their ancestral homes.
Overall, the project, with all the components, did not cost us more than $30,000 US. We're talking about providing clean water, providing lights to prevent gender-based violence, to prevent deaths due to snake bites and those kind of things. We have also provided some cash to IDPs so that they can sustain themselves and their families.
The lives of these people is terrible. It's not been easy for them. They have lived in these conditions for many, many years. And we're praying and hoping that those government power will be able to facilitate their return to their ancestral homes so that they don't have to depend on charity like this. So we're thankful to God, we're thankful to the donors, and it is our hope that we'll have more resources to meet some of their requests.
Meanwhile, the community representative official of the State Emergency Management Agency and IDP beneficiary expressed their appreciation for the gesture as they further solicited for more water bowls, solar street lights due to the vastness of the community.
We appreciate you so much. Ways enough cannot say. 2 days back, we received a sum of 50,000, some 30,000, and some 20,000. We also appreciate you for your effort. I want to let you know that the work, the effort that the Reverend Father Remudius Hira is doing with us is more than the government work.
I will appreciate their work given to us, and we tell them I will support them with any aspect of the like of the power we have. And for getting years back, we have fasting certain of water, but now we have water surplus in our community. So
now we move to the international desk for more news.
This is news from the international scene. An Israeli offensive in northern Gaza has killed several dozen people and trapped thousands over the past 24 hours, while ongoing attacks in Lebanon have sent more people fleeing from the south. The Israeli military claimed on Wednesday that its fighter jets had hit some 230 targets belonging to Lebanon's Hezbollah and Gaza's Hamas as fighting intensified in both places. However, civilians have borne much of the brunt, with the latest casualties in Gaza pushing the death toll from the year-long war in the enclave above 42,000, the Ministry of Health reported. The Israeli Air Force attacked about 185 Hezbollah and 45 Hamas targets, including military buildings and infrastructure, observation posts, rocket launchers and operatives. It also reported that 3 of its soldiers were severely injured on Tuesday and Wednesday during combat in southern Lebanon. The Iran-backed Hezbollah said it targeted Israeli soldiers near the Lebanese border village of Labuneh with artillery shells and rockets on Wednesday, pushing the troops back. Top European Union officials have slammed Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban over democratic backsliding at home and his Russian-friendly stance that has blocked military and financial aid to Ukraine. Orban, whose country currently holds the EU's 6-month rotating presidency, came under fire on Wednesday after warning officials gathered in Strasbourg, France, about the migration crisis and the war in Ukraine as he addressed the European Parliament.